Who would you put on the R&B Mount Rushmore?
Hey yo, this is gonna be very different and the most unconventional R&B Mount Rushmore that you'll ever see. So because the Mount Rushmore is limited to 4 spots, I decided to pick one name from these 4 specific categories: R&B producer, R&B writer, R&B singer slash vocalist, and a free space. So technically there's 3 specific categories. Now this is my R&B Mount Rushmore, which means whoever you want to put on and take off is your business. Really and truly, for a genre like R&B, there are so many great writers, producers, singers, performers that you can choose from. There is no right or wrong answer. Well, there are a few obvious wrong answers. That being said, here's my R&B Mount Rushmore. So for my producer slot, I got Rodney Jerkins, Darkchild. Special consideration to names like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Teddy Riley, Timbaland, Pharrell, Jermaine Dupri, who was my runner-up for this slot. But there's just a certain kind of magic that goes into a Rodney Jerkins joint. Even when working with artists outside of the genre of R&B, he still manages to bring that R&B magic to that joint. For the R&B writer slot, I got Babyface. Again, special consideration to Dallas Austin, to Candy Burris, to Missy Elliott, to Neo, to The Dream, Static Major. But every one of those writers would tell you that Babyface is undeniably on that Mount Rushmore. And he's responsible for one of the greatest movie soundtracks of all time, the Waiting to Excel soundtrack, or as I affectionately call it, the Great Divas Link Up. For my R&B singer slot, there are so many names that you can go with. You can go with Whitney, you can go with Mariah, you can go with Mary J, you can go with Beyonce, you can go with Patty, you can go with Anita, you can go with Luther, you could go with Marvy, you can go with Michael, you can go with Stevie, but I will always still put Brandy in my Mount Rushmore. She is the vocal Bible. Not only does she have a solid discography, not only does she have hits, not only is she one of the most talented singers to come out of the 90s, she is arguably the most influential. Put it to you this way, if Whitney Houston is the Michael Jordan of R&B, then Brandy is the Kobe Bryant, considering the fact that both in their respective fields have young talent that grew up on them and are influenced by them. And for my free space, I was strongly considering putting Usher up here, but then I thought to myself, who would I be if I didn't put Janet Jackson on my Mount Rushmore? I know a lot of people would rather consider Janet more of a pop artist than an R&B artist, but simply put, go and listen to The Velvet Rope. Hell, go even listen to Janet and tell me that the landscape of today's R&B is not a direct result of the impact of those 2 albums.